putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Greetings and salutations, of course. You are tuning into the Disgruntled Millennial portion of the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. I am your host, Brett Segal, the Disgruntled Millennial. Of course, you may refer to me as Mr. The Disgruntled Millennial. I broadcast to you live from my safe space down here in Northern Florida, where I'm always free from your bigotry, racism, hatred, microaggressions, patriarchy, and today I'm most certainly free from your AIDS. California, obviously, we are talking about California, the new California law, which basically makes purposefully passing AIDS to a stranger or individual or someone that you claim to love. It makes it a misdemeanor instead of a felony that you can be put in prison for. I am here today with my mother. My mother is the wife of my father, of course, a man who died from hemophilia-related AIDS back in 1988. And we are talking about the catastrophic effects that AIDS has on people's lives. And when people in California promote laws like this, when people in any state or any place in the world promote laws like this, they don't truly understand what AIDS does to families. AIDS is a virus. You know, I hear all this stuff from environmentalists. Oh, human race is the virus. We need to eradicate the human race so that the earth can do its thing. Without the human race, the earth would be just a rock somewhere floating around in space. Without the human race here to recognize it, AIDS is one of those diseases that does nothing more than kill human beings. And to normalize a disease like AIDS, to make it so that it's not something that destroys families and destroys lives, to me, it's one of the greatest crimes. Because I am pro-human. I am a pro-human. I like humanity. With all its faults, you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. My mother told me that you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. That's what AIDS does. That's what it seems like California is trying to do by normalizing AIDS, by saying, oh, well, AIDS is just as good as any other way to live. Now, my mom and my family, of course, I was a child at the time. I was the oldest of three. I am the oldest of three. I was 6 years old when my father died. My brother was 4. My sister was 2. I have a couple fleeting memories of my father. I'm going to tell you what my memories are right now. I remember him storming across the house once or twice. That's my memory of my father. Alive, of course. My other memory of my father is him laying in his casket. Now I'm here with my mom. I call her every day. We talk all the time. She's all I've got left other than my brother and my sister and, you know, a tight-knit group of friends. But my mom is here to talk about the catastrophic effects of AIDS on people's lives. And though we need to get rid of the stigma that it's not something that should be stigmatized, we still have to acknowledge the fact that it is a human disease that is meant to do nothing other than kill human beings and provide human beings with nothing but catastrophe. Mom, it's been sort of an emotional it's been a sort of an emotional hour, and it's going to get a little bit more emotional because right now you're going to read to us my father's dying letter to me and my brother and my sister. Mom, could you read my father's dying letter to me and my brother and my sister? The one keepsake that we have to remember him by, other than, you know, a couple videos and his legacy of education in the community.
Your father came to me about a year before he died and handed me a letter, a stack of letters, actually. And it was a letter to everybody in our immediate family. And one of those letters was a letter that I was asked to read to you and your brother and sister when you were old enough to understand and grasp what he was saying. And so the night that he died, I put it away in a drawer, put all of them in a drawer. And the night that he died, the family came over to the house, and I can remember your dad sitting on the couch, sort of in a daze. I mean, your grandpa. And I went to the drawer that I had put it into, and I got it out, and I gave each person their letter that was from your dad. And this letter here that I have in front of me now is a letter that he wrote to you and your brother and sister. Brett, Todd, and Margot, this is real hard for me, my babies. You three are the reasons I hung on, the foundation of my will to live, and the saddest part of knowing that I was going to die. Margot, you used to say when you were almost 2, "Watch me, Daddy," and then you do something silly. I watched you over and over again. I wish I could watch you now. Pete and repeat. Your brothers. You really can't imagine how wonderful that is. If you overlook any differences you might eventually have, your brother will be the one person in your life that will always be there for you. Don't ever let that change. It's so important. My children, grow up. Change the world. Your success is measured by your integrity. Be there for your friends. Love each other. And if you're old enough now, remember that I, your father, loved you, needed you, and was so very proud to have you in my life for as long as I did. I love you, Brett. I love you, Toddy. I love you, Margot. Then he signed it in his illegible initials.
His signature and my signature look somewhat alike. It looks like a little bit of chicken scratch, just like he had a D with a little chicken scratch, and I have a B with a little chicken scratch. His name was Douglas Brett Segal. I was named after my father, Douglas Brett Segal. My name, of course, is Brett Segal, the Disgruntled Millennial. And that, of course, is the one of the keepsakes that my father left behind. And when I hear about people in California talking about AIDS rights, that's something that people like me and my mom and my dad knew about. That's not something that people who just want to go out and vengefully infect other people with AIDS knows about. That's a little bit of a different thing. And it sort of colors this whole entire circumstance that's going on in California in such a different way, because these people don't know the kind of catastrophe that this has for families. They just don't know. They don't know how it trickles down into the lives of other people, into the lives of children. These are, I mean, imagine me, of course, I'm grown up now. I can speak in complete sentences, but I was 6 years old when all of this happened. I was 6 years old when my father wrote that letter. I was barely even capable of understanding what he was saying in that letter. And already my life was affected by the AIDS virus. Now imagine a world after January 1st, the world that we are about to see in California come to fruition. January 1st, where you can just viciously and maliciously and vindictively inflict this kind of pain onto any family that you decide, with virtually no consequence to your person. It's just a misdemeanor. I don't know. Go ahead, Mom.
Do we know? Is it known who initiated this change specifically?
Yes. It's the liberal governor of California and several gay government officials who I guess they think they're doing favors for the gay community. I guess they're doing favors for the gay community. Look, I'm just going to put it out there. Gay people don't have their own kids, right? Unless they have a heterosexual person involved, or unless they have a person of the opposite sex involved. But gay couples don't have their own kids. So why would they care, honestly? What reason would these government officials have to care about people like me, people like you?
Don't know.
Talk about privacy. Talk about equality. I'm just not sure what would possess some people to go down this road.
So, then it makes it even doubly more important to continue the education to people growing up who are young in schools, to perpetuate the AIDS education and explain to young girls and young boys how to protect themselves, that they need to think about what they're doing and not be so cavalier about sex, which is unfortunately the way it is right now.
Absolutely. We'll be right back.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.